Hello, our dear viewers. Welcome on the Chata Show. It's your show, the biggest show in the Western region. We thank you so much for viewing. Continue liking, continue sharing, and above all, make sure you subscribe. So today, we are privileged to host one of the specialists from Healing Together Uganda. Let her introduce herself, then we'll continue.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Brenda Ariatugumia. I'm a country director Healing Together Uganda, and I'm very privileged to be here and to share with you, the viewers of this particular platform. And I'm excited to share with you what I know so we can learn from each other. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Brenda, for honoring our invitation. So today we want to talk about mental wellness.
Yes.
How would you describe mental wellness?
Mental wellness, how I describe mental wellness is being at ease, at peace with your mind. Basically, like you're consciously thinking. Whatever you do, you're doing it from a conscious mind. That is what I would look at as mental wellness. Because when we come to things that we do on a daily basis, you find you get to work and meet some workmate at the workspace, and they say something, or you find they have done something, and all of a sudden you're acting weird. That is not mental wellness. Or you get home, your children or your spouse or whoever they are you're living with, your colleagues, your friends and family, they do something to you or they say something to you, then you respond badly. Or you meet something on the way entering the house, and you start, talking so badly to the maid or any other person in the house. Then that is not mental wellness. Mental wellness is being at peace with yourself, with your mind, with your soul, and with everyone around you.
Okay.
Yes.
So if you describe mental illness as that, most of us have a mentality of thinking maybe someone who is mentally ill is someone who is on the streets, maybe a mad person.
Yeah.
But according to your description, it's as if almost all of us, our mental illness is basically not okay.
I will not say that our mental wellness is basically not okay, all of us. Mental wellness is always being conscious of ourselves, because the life we live in today brings every challenge. True. So being conscious of your own mental, that is when you'll be well. I mean, you meet a maid, they have done something really bad, this is really bad. Or your workmate, or your colleague, your friend, and you really know this is really bad. But you don't let that particular bad thing affect you, your thinking or your actions. You understand?
Sure.
When you find yourself, you're in a situation where you can be able to not let these outside things that are coming around affect you, then that means you are managing your wellness. Okay. That is what we call mental wellness. So when we look at these people on the streets, people who have completely gone crazy, those who we meet on streets, those who we meet talking alone, so these are the people who were not able to manage their wellness, whereby someone gets to office, they tell you this and this has happened, then it gets to you, affects you. Now your mind is activated, you're not regulated at all. Then next day you get back home, that very particular day you get back home, you hear your spouse has done this and this, or you have had this gambo, it has come to you, that also gets to affect you. You don't regulate, or you don't let certain things not affect you. So you keep letting things, you receive every negative energy is coming to you, you're receiving it. Now the mind, our brains are wired in a way that they do not tolerate what we call stress. So every time anything stressing happens to you, the conscious brain, the one we normally call a thinking brain, the one responsible for thinking, shuts down. So once it shuts down, that means your thinking is no longer activated. So you are dysregulated. Everything you do, you'll be reacting, you'll be fighting. You get to bed, you will get to bed. It gets midnight to 2 to 1 to 3 before you get sleep. The body is trained to be activated as well as to rest. So you find that you had an active day and you still had an active night. The mind is activated. So the brain has not regulated or has not rested. So at the end of the day, you spark off. One day, one morning, something happens because you have accumulated a lot of stress. You spark off. That's when you see someone going on the streets.
Okay, so
you see someone losing themselves.
what would one do to make sure that their wellness is at peace, that their mental health is at peace?
Thank you. Before I even answer that, I want us to know that we are living in a world where we always get stressed.
True.
So that is one particular thing that people should put in their head, in their mind, that anything can happen and will stress you.
True.
When we learn that, then we learn to accept these life challenges that come to us. For example, losing a loved one. You will not say, okay, yes, they've told you you've lost a loved one. For example, let's say a child, God forbid. Then you say, no, that is not my child. That is denial. When we learn to accept that this is a life challenge that has come to me, you have lost a relationship, and accept that this relationship has completely done what? Has ended.
Yeah, true.
You know, as soon as you, when you get to know that the relationship has ended, then that is where your growth starts.
Basically, you learn to accept it.
Exactly. It has happened. It has come for me. So this relationship of mine has completely ended. So where do I start? Now, when you start to train our minds that this has happened, it is a life challenge, it has come for me, then that is where your growth starts. And you say, okay, what can I do next? So what do we do next? We do not, I don't want to tell you people that we can avoid stress. We can manage stress instead. So once this has happened, what do I need to do? It has happened, accept that a relationship has ended. What do I need to do next before I lose to this situation?
True.
If you stay in a situation, my boyfriend, I've put in him a lot, I have done this with him, I've done this with my girlfriend, I've done this, you are dying mentally. You are losing yourself as a person, and you can no longer concentrate at work as well because of this particular situation. So you find this situation is affecting your entire everything, including your friends and family. You have a friend, for example, you're Trebius, you have a friend and she has lost a boyfriend. You cannot even get a chance to talk to this person because they are feeling this sadness. They are feeling like they are no longer with people. People do not love them anymore when there are other people out there who could love them. So when we start to learn that life experiences come to us for us to learn, then we get to accept that we can always manage situations. We don't let situations manage us.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Don't forget that we are fully sponsored by SHB Mobile Agency. For any kind of electronics that you need, please contact the SHB Mobile Agency. They are located at High Street, Mbarara. And then we also have KY Driving School. For all the driving lessons that you would require, please don't hesitate to contact them. So, Madam Brenda, what do we need to do? What should one do to make sure that they are mentally okay?
I think what we need to do for our own wellness, first and foremost, is us knowing ourselves. You know who you are, what you deserve. You know, sometimes you ask someone, do you know who you are? And they even don't know. Yeah. So when you know who you are, then you get to know what you deserve, or you know your worth. Then after you've gotten to know your worth, then you start walking away from situations that are really toxic for you.
True.
Situations that you feel that they really don't need to come to you. That is after you've gotten to know who you are and what you are worth of. So most of the things we need to do, like I told you, stressors will always come. Life will always bring those challenges.
Yeah.
But once it has happened and it has come to you, one of the effective ways, one of the effective thing you can do to regulate when the brain has gotten to shock. You know, I call that trauma.
Okay.
So
Trauma in simple words, how would you describe trauma? Maybe for our viewers who may not be that.
Okay. So trauma is, in simple words, it is a Greek word which means wound. Wound, echironda. Have you ever heard echironda?
Yes.
That wound. So it's a Greek word which means wound, and that is a wound that is on your brain. You cannot see, you cannot touch, you cannot give this direct treatment. That is trauma. And when we look at trauma, if you have trauma and you don't treat it, if you have a wound and you don't treat it, you know, yeah, thank you so much. It becomes bad. It can become cancerous. Become cancerous, or even you lose a leg because of a particular wound. The same applies to trauma. So once we have that wound to nature on our brain, then you find like you cannot concentrate. So one thing you can really do is deep breathing.
Just taking a deep breath?
Deep breathing. That is a very good healing technique.
When someone annoys you, instead of reacting,
thank you,
just take a deep breath.
So when someone annoys you, like I told you, the thinking brain for it will shut down. You're no longer thinking consciously. You become unconscious, you become activated. So to regulate yourself, to come back to ease, to regulate and get back, though what they have told you is really hurting you, you're feeling like you want to fight, you're feeling all the energy because those are the kinds, what we normally call as emergency responses in certain situations, like fight, freeze, or appease. So what you need to do at that moment is take a deep breath. You understand?
Just breathe in.
And then someone will tell you a very big word, Tribius. Hey Tribius, you're such a dense girl. How would that feel?
I would feel like slapping them.
Thank you. So as soon as that comes in, remember who Tribius is, your worth. You know who you are. You are not worth fighting. You are not worth throwing back those words to them. So when you remember that, then you regulate your brain to calm down, and so that you can let that negativity go away. It shouldn't affect you. You understand? So taking a deep breath is like breathing in, then you breathe out. That helps you to calm your nervous system, your whole body to calm down.
As simple as that.
As simple as that. So you just need to take a deep breath in, then you breathe out. I know viewers, the viewers who are watching this, especially sports fans, if you've ever taken time to watch these footballers like Cristiano Ronaldo, when given a penalty, because everyone is looking at him and they expect him to go through, he first takes a deep breath and breathes out. That is one way of helping him to come back and focus, so you don't lose. So for you to also focus when someone has told you that very particular heavy word, please take a deep breath and remember your worth. So as you take your breath, the thinking is coming down. You're going to start thinking consciously, and you let go of whatever they have said to you, because you know you're not worth what they have said, and you know who you are. You're not worth whatever that they have told you. Then you continue living. But how you lose yourself, and where we will see you and say you are not mentally well, you're mentally ill, is when they will tell you those words and they affect you. You fight, you shout. That is when you're
back.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've seen scenarios. Maybe I've separated with my partner. I've lost a very close person, a loved one. And we've seen people resorting to smoking, drugs. People have resorted to alcoholism as a way of hiding the pain. We have seen many cases of people using those as healing processes.
Yeah, thank you so much. You know, those we call them unhealthy ways of healing, and they are kind of coping skills. But those skills are really harmful to you yourself, because if this situation has happened, you've lost a loved one, and you're going to the bar for drinking, or you're in a relationship and the relationship has ended, has stopped, and then you get to the bar and drink and drink and drink. Remember, the situation is waiting for you.
That is just a way of coping.
That is coping. So when you come back, the situation is here. But when you use healthy ways like deep breathing, like I told you, deep breathing is the biggest technique, but there are other ways other people out there in the community heal through praying. Some people go to church and pray. Some go sing. Some dance. Some cry. Crying is a very healthy technique.
So it is okay to cry.
Very, very absolutely okay. I'm so disappointed by the community and the cultures we've grown up in, where they have told men that men do not cry.
And we are having a challenge of men not opening up. Men are dying silently.
Thank you.
We have high cases of men committing suicide. Men are not opening up.
Yeah, because they have been raised. It's not their fault, by the way.
Man is not supposed to cry.
Yeah,
that's what the community thinks.
You see, so it is not that man's fault, according to me, because they have been raised and told that you are not supposed to cry.
It is okay to cry it out.
So that is why you find that men out in the community are saying crying is for women, and that is why women have managed stress.
True.
That is why men are dying. If you have to notice here, like for example in Bara community, the people who go to riveries and do suicide, kill themselves, throw themselves in the river, I have overheard men normally do that.
Compared to the number of women.
Compared to women. And this is because when a man gets to fight with his wife in the house, they have a disagreement, the man stays with it. And there is healing in telling someone. Yeah. But this woman will even get a phone and start talking on phone.
Call the mother
or a friend. Or next day wakes up and goes to a friend and tells them everything. So the more you're talking, is this kind of healing. You're releasing, you're letting go. But for a man is going to stay with this, and now the more he's staying with this, the more he's dying. So at the end of the day, they see there is no reason for them to live anymore, but instead take their lives. Or the more you are with mental health, the more you live a life of survival. Like you're always in stress, you're always stressed, your lifespan becomes lower. Compared to someone who gets stressed and releases it. Get stressed, you go to church and sing. You get to stress, you play your old music and dance. That is healing itself, and sharing with some other people. So people have different ways of healing, and I wouldn't advise, I wouldn't love someone to go for drugs, to go for alcoholism. That is really,
you're just hiding out from the problem.
Yes, instead of managing the situation.
True.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Brenda. I hope our viewers have picked a thing or two. Thank you so much, our viewers, for watching. Continue liking, continue sharing, and don't forget our sponsors, SHB Mobile Agents, for all the electronics that you will need. Kway Driving School for all the driving lessons that you will need, as well as the driving permits. Till next time, bye-bye.